Introducing the Diamond Seminar's #2 Independent Sales Director, Executive Senior Sales Director, Julianne McGillis.
I'm honored to stand here in front of you. I have sat in the seminar hall 10 previous years, and I've listened as the top directors and the top nationals have shared their ideas and their knowledge, but I always left with one question unanswered. Were they scared and nervous? Well, I got the answer. It's yes! So if I can stand up here and give this speech, because if you hear something knocking, it's my knees. You need to understand that prior to Mary Kay, I was very, very shy, very insecure. I was a recluse. I stayed home, locked my doors, closed my blinds, and I screened all my calls through my answering machine. And if it wasn't my husband, my mother, or my best friend, I didn't pick up the phone. My sister-in-law was my Mary Kay consultant. She'd been my consultant for about 4.5 years, but she'd never ever shared the Mary Kay opportunity with me. When people ask her why not, she said because she's a flake, and she'd never make it in Mary Kay. I have sold Avon. I was a very good book pitcher. I could pitch that book flat up on the doorstep every time. But I never phoned them back. And if they called me, I avoided their calls. So I failed at that business. My father decided that I should be in real estate. So I went to school and I loved to learn. I got 100% on the national and I only missed one on the state. But the only homes that I've ever bought or sold are the ones that I've lived in. So I failed at that. Then my wonderful, incredible offspring, Tammy Craig, and I were very creative, the two of us together. So we put together a party business. We ordered all the party goods, and then it was up to me to talk to the public. We both have a lot of party goods in our basement. My sister-in-law was right, I was a flake. Luckily for me, she moved to California. She turned my name over to my now awesome and incredible, loving Senior Director, Martha K. Riley. Martha called me up simply to service me as a customer. I ordered a couple of things, but I didn't want to meet her. I knew she'd be simply stunning, and so I had a plan. I left 15 minutes before she was scheduled to come. And I thought what would happen is that I would come home and there'd be a bag on my doorstep with the bill in it, and I could mail her a check and I'd never have to meet the woman. Didn't work like that. She was a good consultant. She called me back and she said, Julianne, we missed each other. And I said, don't know what happened. And I set a second appointment with her. I stood her up. I set a third appointment with her. I stood her up. I set a fourth appointment with her. I stood her up. I set a fifth appointment. I fully intended to stand her up. I am a woman of my word. But she came 15 minutes early. I looked out my blinds. There was this big old pink Cadillac, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've been caught. I grabbed my son, who was 5 at the time. We dashed up the stairs to the master bedroom, and we hid. It wasn't very adult, I understand that, but we hid. He kept saying, Mom, there's somebody at the door. I said, if you'll just be really quiet, she will go away. After a couple of minutes, the knocking did quit. And as soon as the knocking quit, the phone rang, and I thought, well, it can't be her. She had a cell phone. She said, hi, Julianne, this is Martha Riley. If you don't want your products, that's perfectly fine with me, but please quit wasting my time. I said, must not have heard that bell. She said, why don't you run right back down the stairs that I watched you run up? Because not only was I insecure, I wasn't really smart. My front doors have glass window panes at the top, and my stairs are directly in front of the doors. She watched us run up the stairs. Needless to say, I kind of crept down and I opened the door and I wanted to dig a hole and disappear. I had gone to high school with this woman. She took one look at me. She said, I do not know what has happened to you since high school, sweetheart, but you have turned into such a weenie. She came in, sat down, proceeded to sell me about $100 worth of glamour, which is not a lot, but for me it was because I didn't wear makeup. After she was done with the sales, she then turned to me and she said, you know what, I think you'd be very good doing what I do. I said, number 1, I don't wear makeup. Number 2, I'm not exactly a social butterfly. I don't like people. And number 3, I have 0 self-confidence. There is no way I could do this business. Well, luckily for me, Martha saw more in me when she looked at me than when I looked into the mirror. And I will always be grateful for that. So between she and my former husband, they decided I should do Mary Kay. I was now a Mary Kay beauty consultant. For the first while in my business, I did absolutely nothing, and then I caught the vision. And then when I shared this opportunity, I loved watching that personal growth. So I developed a passion for loving to help women. I am very proud to stand before you today and represent my phenomenal unit. They've worked so hard and come so far this year. I'm standing here today because of the efforts of hundreds of people, not just my efforts. This is their moment in time. At the beginning of June, it was looking highly doubtful that we were going to be able to achieve that million again this year. But I believe I have the privilege to work with a team that has such focus, desire, drive, and team spirit and camaraderie. But most of all, they have passion and a dream. They wanted more than anything to complete the million 2 years in a row. You see, we'd come a long way and come through a pretty rough year the year before. We have what I call a blended family. 2 years ago, my personal recruit, Robin K. Varley, passed away. What a tragic loss for so many. Robin was one of a kind, a very special, special lady. She was tiny, but she left shoes for me to fill that were gigantic. My old unit and her unit had a common goal, and that was to complete a goal that Robin had started in July, just 27 days before she passed away, and that was the million. And as I look back on the year, it was probably one of the most difficult years of my career and my life. But God teaches us and molds us into the people that He had in mind when He created us. And sometimes it's in the most unpleasant ways, or at least that's the way that we see it. I had no choice, nor did my new unit. We took the path that was laid out for us. I often questioned why. Why did someone so wonderful get taken so early? God must have His reasons. Well, He does, and He did. I now have a team that together endured things that only we understand, and therefore we have a bond that is unbreakable. It allows us to do the unthinkable, the unrealistically unachievable. To us, anything is possible because we made it through something that at the time was impossible. And to my unit, have I ever told you that you are my heroes, that you are everything I ever want to be, and that I can fly higher than an eagle because you are the wind beneath my wings? We don't always get to choose the cards that we are dealt. I know so many of you experience hardships and challenges every day, but if I can share with you a different perspective on those trials, and that is, get excited. God thinks you have such great potential. He only gives the trials and to the test to those He sees as great. And the ones that endure the trials and learn from the experience are destined for greatness and are able to teach and help others on the journey because of those trials. You know, the artist Renoir, he created such masterpieces that everyone knows his name by having been touched by the beauty of his work. He had such crippling arthritis that when he painted, each stroke of the brush was an excruciating, painstaking effort. His friend and fellow artist Matisse once asked Renoir as he watched him work, "Why do you paint when it is so painful for you?" Renoir smiled and simply replied, "Because the pain passes, but the beauty lasts forever." You are the artist. You create for yourself and your family a beautiful, secure future. It seems sometimes to be a painstaking, slow, tedious, and nerve-testing process to create a masterpiece, but the end result is definitely worth it. Or you could just mass-produce a carbon copy of the lifestyle of those in corporate America that don't possess the patience or the vision to pursue and persist at creating a lasting treasure. The choice is yours, and it definitely is a choice. Mary Kay Ash allows us to create whatever lifestyle we want. She gives us the colors to add to our canvas. Each of us creates different levels of lifestyle, and we can be creative in our own time and our own lifestyles. Yet we can each create a masterpiece that will be enjoyed for a very long time, not only by us, but by those in our families and everyone we come in contact with. I want to tell you about a few of the artists in our unit. Wanda Allison 3 months ago had a stroke the day after signing her DIQ papers. She continued to work from her hospital bed. She called and asked if I would bring her some satin hands so that she could let all the staff try that. She completed her first month DIQ from that bed. Then 6 weeks later, 2 weeks before the end of June, she called me on a Sunday in tears. Her mother had passed away. That very next day, she was at our unit meeting, and she stood before the unit and spoke about team spirit and what we needed to do to reach our goal, and that each of us needed to stay focused and not give up on our team dream of million. Wanda had a seizure just this morning, and she came out in the wheelchair because she said, I'm going to walk that $1 million walk. Wanda, thank you. Wanda, I want to thank you for painting for me such a grand example of tenacity and focus. I learn from your examples. Wanda did walk across that stage last night in the Queen's Court of Personal Sales. She is creating her own masterpiece. Jane Osborne in June needed to finish her requalification for Grand Am. Everything kept falling through except Jane. She kept working until the very last second of June 30th, and finally everything came together for her in those final moments. Jane, thank you for painting the picture of true belief that if you focus on the activity, the results will come, and that you never, ever, ever give up. Jane is entering into DIQ next month, creating her own work of art. Corey Jackson, she's painted such a portrait of Mary Kay's lifestyle and dream that her 5-year-old son Jeffrey loves this company so much and what it has to offer to women that he warm chatted a woman at the park. They live next door to a play park, and Jeffrey got chatting with one of the moms at the park, and he came running home to Corey and he said, Mom, hurry and grab your Mary Kay stuff, because there's a lady over there that wants to buy some, and I think she'd be really good selling Mary Kay. Corey went over to the park, and sure enough, Jeffrey was right. Jill came in as a Ruby Star consultant, and that month, Corey completed her first month car qualification. Corey, you are quite an artist. Thank you for painting the example of keeping your priorities straight. To Shelley Visser, Michelle Proctor, and Wanda Allison, they all envisioned walking across stage in Queen's Court of Personal Sales, and they completed that work of art last night. Congratulations, ladies. I have a whole unit full of Renoirs. They are the artists that deserve this spotlight. They are the women that don't stop. They focus, they pull together, they make the decision, envision what they want, and then they paint their dreams into reality with such passion and purpose that they don't even see the problems other than how they can conquer them and learn from these problems in order to continue to create the future they have in mind. To them, I thank you for the lessons and the love you have given me. To my national, Dolly Griffin, thank you for teaching me so many lessons in the early stages of my career. And right after Robin passed away, Dolly gave me the strength I needed to pick up the brush and to continue to paint my own canvas. To Linda Tupin, LaRonda Daigle, Lisa Madsen, and all the countless other directors I learned from, thank you for being such creative geniuses and so talented in painting the picture to all of us, what we have in this company. By watching and listening and gleaning from you, each of us will have the opportunity to unveil our own work of art because we followed your incredible examples. Because a lot of my unit members are out of town, I want to tell the adopted directors, thank you so much for teaching and loving my out-of-town unit. To my future national area, well, what can I say? Last night we had eight directors walk across and pick up their bar pin. Some of them for the first time, others are very well known to this seminar stage. 11 consultants walked across in the Queen's Court of Personal Sales and 1 director in the Queen's Court of Personal Sales. Thank you for being known as an area with women that are the most focused, driven, yet loving, compassionate, giving, and sharing. I am so blessed and honored to have the opportunity to represent you and to work with each of you. To my handsome husband, Mark, thank you for always being there to support me and to keep me going even when I don't want to keep going. Thank you for always believing in me and in Mary Kay. I love you. Mary Kay, I want to thank you for having such vision, creativity, and tenacity to endure the pain of the creation of your dream, and for being such a master at painting the dream for women and then living a life that is the epitome of love and giving and the golden rule. Thank you for all you have given to me and to my family, and not only the monetary rewards, but the life-changing growth experience that I have been able to have because of you and your courage to dream. Thank you for believing in me. I know I am one of thousands that adore you, that honor you, respect you, and Mary Kay, I want to grow up to be just like you. Thank you so much for all you've done. Mary Kay Ash is the master, and she has the touch. She's the master of humor, simplicity, and communication. She is the master of teaching each of us to dream and then to dream big. She's the master of conveying and instilling her belief in you. Just as Renoir has left us with his art treasures, Mary Kay continues to build her legacy in each of us. I have been blessed to be touched personally by the Master's hand. About 6 years ago, I had totally lost my belief because I listened to that negative world. On a top director's trip in London, Mary Kay sat next to me, and she took my face in her hands and touched her forehead next to mine. And people were flashing cameras all around, but I felt like I was the only person in the room. Everyone was leaving, the buses were loading. They tapped her on the shoulder and said, "Mary Kay, the buses are leaving." She turned slowly and said, "I think they'll wait for us." The look in her eyes said more than words could ever convey. She said, "I believe in you. Continue your dream. Continue to touch and change lives." I am here today because of that touch of her hand. Mary Kay has entrusted to us her dream and her legacy. She's asked us to carry forward the torch into the next millennium. You are the future of Mary Kay. Continue her legacy. Share this incredible gift that she has given to you with other women. A wise man once said that most people go to their graves with their music still in them. By touching others' lives with this company and this incredible opportunity, you are not only making a difference in those lives, but in lives for generations to come. My belief is that purpose in life is twofold: to be the best us that God intended us to be when He created us, and to assist others in the quest for the same. Prizes, trips around the world, a better world full of more people that have self-worth and want to help all those that cross their path because they feel good about who they are and that they have a defined purpose and a passion for all things. I bet you didn't realize how much came in that showcase, and you thought this was just about selling makeup. Like Renoir, in order to be able to create that lasting treasures that he left the world, he had to have been inspired and filled with such a desire and passion for life. He wanted to capture the beauty of the world, just as he used his paints as his tools to accomplish this goal. We have been given by our master, Mary Kay, our own set of paints, and they came in the form of a showcase. Mary Kay's goal for all women is to bring the colors to life that exist within each of us and to paint onto our canvas for the world to see what God intended each of us to be. We are each God's masterpiece in the making. Arlene Lenars once said, "We are not just human beings, we are humans becoming." Don't deprive the world and not allow them to enjoy the beauty within you, because it's your turn to create your masterpiece. Thank you very much.